Okay, so thank you for the time on the phone. This is really what I'd want to do is I just want to show you how Move and Store works, and I want to show you how it can help you to win more book jobs. Okay, and especially if you're using like lead sources such as like Getamover or Bark, that sort of thing. It's really, really important that you're winning those jobs because you're paying for the leads. Yeah, and even if it's not a lead that you paid for, it's still important to appear as professional as possible because, you know, let's be realistic. Your customer is comparing you with other people. They're getting more than one price. And especially if you're getting a lead from somewhere like Bark or Getamover or any site like that, you're paying for that lead, but then there's like four other people that are also paying for that lead that are hungry to try and win it. So you have to be the one that appears as professional as possible in order to win that work. And that's what Move and Store will help you do. There's so many more features that it can help with, in terms of like managing that and actually managing your removals business. But the one thing I want to show you now is how it helps you to win more work. Okay, so we have something called the leads, and this is essentially your pipeline. So you can get, any kind of new leads you would pop into the system. Okay. If it's come from like our work, so, there's add-on services such as we can manage your Google Ads campaign and we can manage your Facebook campaigns, then those leads automatically go into the system for you. Yeah. But if it's come from an external source, all you would do is you would add it in. Okay, so you select where it's actually come from. Yeah, you'd either search for a contact that's already in the system, or you'd create a new contact and any notes. Okay, so that then creates a lead, which, let's say you then need to book a viewing. It's simply a case of dragging and dropping into the different phases. So, for example, new lead that's just come in, maybe you then contact them and you arrange a viewing. Then maybe you send out a quote. And then once a quote has gone out, you don't just leave that. You then move them into the follow-up, and you can actually schedule follow-ups in the system so that you know when to reach out. Yeah. So for example, you send out a quote today, and then let's say you schedule a follow-up in 3 days, and the system will remind you when it's time to reach out. Now, what I've just shown you there is free. If you move on to the Pro plan, which is £29 per month, then Move and Store actually does a lot of that follow-up and chasing for you. So you can set it on autopilot. So once you send out the quote, if they don't open it, the system will automatically reach out on your behalf and remind them. If they've viewed the quote, but they haven't paid, the system will automatically reach out on their behalf and remind them. And then same thing, once the job is booked, it will send reminders to your customers that the job is in 3 days. And then the day before, it will also remind them that the job is tomorrow, basically, and to prepare. And then once the job is complete, it will also help you to gain more Google reviews, because it will send your review link automatically to your customer so that you can start to build up a lot more review traffic, which is actually one of the most important things. In fact, that last thing I've just said there with the automatic review generation, That's worth £29 per month on its own in terms of how much future work it would win you. And that, along with everything else I've just said, is included in the Pro plan. Now, let me show you the process of creating a quote. So again, if the person is already in the system, we just create them. There we go. Any notes? Now, you can see these different steps here. So, who it is, customer, the inventory in terms of what you're moving, any access, logistics, and review. So 5 different stages. Now, it's fully flexible. So it's sort of designed for house removals, but in reality, if it's not a house removal, then you don't really need to fill out this inventory step. Or you could just scroll down to the bottom and you can just give it a name. So let's say it's like rubbish removal, or you're doing like logistics or anything like that. You can put in what it is, the size of what it is, and we work in you can work in imperial or you can work in metric, and you can add that in. So it's easy enough just to add in items like that. But if you're doing a full house move, it might be better for you to actually spec out the full inventory. Yeah, and this can also make you feel and appear more professional to the customer, especially if you're doing like an in-person viewing. As you're walking around, you're just tapping on these in terms of adding more rooms to the property. If the customer's already pre-packed, then, you know, for example, they might have 5 small boxes, 2 medium boxes, and 2 large in bedroom 1. Bedroom 2, let's have a look. They've got 3 small boxes, 5 medium and 1 large, and so on and so forth. Okay. You can also add in items which, you know, sort of, I guess, impossible to pack, right? They might have a 4-seater sofa. So I'm going to take off the 3-seater and put on the 4. Okay. They've also got an armchair. So you can just tick to add those in. And what it's doing, you'll notice at the top, it's actually building out the total amount of space which is needed. Okay. So that you can get an accurate representation of what is needed in terms of, let's say, van size, and just to make sure that you're quoting effectively. Okay. The next step is access. So you would type in the address of where you're going from and to, any access information, any access notes. I'm going to put in, there we go, just random places. Okay, but this is, you know, obviously for you, so that you know where you're going from and where you're going to, and any kind of access restrictions or things which are needed as well, you know, to help you with the quoting as well. So you set the date and time in terms of when the customer wants it. And if you're going far and you don't have enough time, so the pickup is on one day and the drop-off is on another, then you have the option there to select that as well. Okay, and everything you selected there will appear on the quotation as well. Now we have various different ways that you can price. You know, almost every removal company prices ever so slightly different. So the way I've got it set up right now is that it's in a first block model, which means that the first 4 hours, in this case, are £450, and every £100 extra on top of that. But you can price per hour based on the number of people, or, you know, the crew size. You can also price based on vehicle size as well. So if you've got a fleet, for argument's sake, then you can actually put a price in for the vehicle, and you can show that price on the quotation as well. You don't have to, but there's an option. And you can also put the estimated number of hours there as well. So I'm going to put 4 hours estimate. Some removal companies charge mileage, others don't. If you don't charge mileage, you leave that blank. You can charge whatever mileage rate you want. And the system, when you press this button, it automatically works out the amount of miles, and then it will use your per mile rate in order to build that price. We can add in your liability cover, whether you just give it as standard insurance, whether you don't, whether it's minimal, whatever the configuration of your removal business, we can configure that in Move and Store. And then again, any quote add-ons can be added on here as well, such as narrow flights of stairs, or if it's at the top of a building, you have to walk down three flights of stairs or whatever, you can add that on there as well, just so that you're pricing effectively for the job. And then any custom amounts, you can add on American fridge disassembly and reassembly, for example. Yeah, so anything custom you can add on there, and you can add that amount. Okay, so this is where you review it. Okay, so you can see that the price that has that's been selected for you is a good one, and that before you're sending it to your customer, everything is on there correctly. Okay, now most removal companies, they don't take deposits. They either ask for the full amount, or they accepted a verbal yes, and that's where you start to lose work. And especially if you get in it from a place like Bark or Getamover or anything like that, or any situation where your customer is comparing you with other people. Often it's not the price that gets it, it's how professional you look and how easy you make it for them to say yes to you. Now, if you're in person, you just press open customer view there, and you can try sell that to them on the spot. But what I want to show you is essentially, if we send that to them, let me just, okay, this is the one that I've just created. Okay, so you can see all your outstanding quotes there. Okay, again, Move and Store tries to help you, so it's always recommending the best next step, and it will tell you if the customer's actually viewed the quote as well. Okay, you can pencil it into your diary if you're certain that it's going to go ahead, but it hasn't been paid for. If you can mark it as one in terms of, let's say the customer pays you via bank transfer or something like that, you can mark it as one. Okay, or you can send it to the customer. Okay, now let me just show you how it's going to look from a customer perspective. Now, bearing in mind, this will be your logo, your company at the top. Okay, so it's your phone number, so professionally branded. It shows the customer all of the information, estimated hours, how many people, the price, the deposit. It shows a breakdown of everything there, the cancellation policy, and again, we can create the cancellation policy that fits your business better. Okay, so in this example, they must give you 1 day's notice, and if they don't, it's 10% of the full quote value that they have to pay. Okay, but if they cancel before, then they get their full deposit back. Again, whatever you're comfortable with your business, we can set this up, including the terms and service. Now, look, imagine you've just purchased a lead from Bark, and that person is comparing your quote with 4 other people. One of them sends them a WhatsApp. The price is going to be $875. One of them sends them an email that's just been typed out with a price, maybe $900. One of them sends them a text message, and then another one calls them and gives them a verbal price. The price is going to be £750. Yeah, I can do it straight away. Yeah, and that's it. But then you send them a professionally branded quotation, which is clear. It has cancellation policies on there. It has the terms of service and the liability. Like, automatically, you look like a professional outfit. Automatically, you look like a company that can be trusted. Yeah. And think about it from that customer's perspective, especially, let's say it's a house move. This is their life. Like, it is all of their belongings. So just by even the fact that you've provided information about things like cancellation and service terms and liabilities, it makes you more trustworthy. And the key thing is you're giving them a way to make a payment and secure that straight away. Yeah. So from their phone, they can pull it out, they can scan a QR code, and it takes them straight into checkout so that they can make that payment. And bearing in mind, you can set this deposit for whatever you want. This is to set up for 25%. You can set it for 5% if you want, 10%. It doesn't really matter. What this is, it's getting that commitment from that customer with a lower amount. Yeah. So you're not asking, let's say, again, let's say you quote £900. Rather than asking them for £900 straight away, you're making it easy for them to say yes by accepting a lower amount just to lock that job in, just so that they know that it's sorted, they can put it out their mind, and if anybody else contacts them, oh, I'm really sorry, mate, I've already chosen someone. Yeah, like that's what you want them to say. And when they click through, they can make that payment directly, and that money gets transferred directly to you. So it makes it extremely easy for them to say yes. Once that's been paid, it goes into jobs. So these are all of your jobs, basically booked, penciled in, cancelled, in process, etc. So you can click back through when it comes time to doing the move, what's being paid, when it's been agreed for, where you're going from, where you're going to, everything that's been sort of captured, if you like, in the sort of previous stages, so that you don't have to work from memory. Everything is there for you. If you've got a team, then you can actually just spin up like a job sheet for them. So you can just send them this. It doesn't have any of the financials on there, but it has enough information for them to be able to, go there. If they view it on a phone, they can click on navigate and, I'm incognito, but if they're on a phone, that will literally open their Google Maps and allow them to navigate directly to the job. Now, I'm going to leave this video here, but what I want to say is, other than the automation, everything that I've just shown you is included in the free plan. So you can get started managing your workflow, making sure that you're tracking what's coming in, what stage everything is in terms of your leads, what you're winning, what you're not winning, what stage do people need to be followed up on, is a job booked, moving it into jobs, sending the professionally branded quotation, taking the deposit, all of that is available in the free plan. The pro plan is what is like having a virtual assistant. It's like having an office admin. It's like having a team member that never phones in sick and never forgets. It always follows up at the right time. It always chases politely at the right time. It always reminds the customer of the move dates 3 days before, 1 day before, and it always asks for that review once a job has been done. It never ever calls in sick. And then for those that want additional lead generation, we can run your meta campaigns and we can run your Google ad campaigns. Okay. Now, I don't want to talk too much about this. Is almost a thing within itself, but it's extremely good value for money. And those that are using it, the clients that we have that are using it, we're sending them leads directly to them. Their phones are ringing more, they're getting more book jobs, and those leads are landing directly into their move and store platform, allowing them to win more work. And essentially, the service pays for itself. So listen, thank you for your time. Right, thank you for watching. I'm confident that you'll have liked what you've seen. If finances are a bit tight, my recommendation is just to get started on the free plan. Get yourself set up. At the very least, you'll get more organized and you'll appear more professional. But then if you're serious about growth and you're serious about winning more work, and especially if you're paying for leads, you need to be winning a higher percentage, then the pro plan is for you. And if you're wanting to supercharge the amount of leads which you're getting in, then what I would say is reallocate some of that budget that you're pushing to these other lead generation sites and allow Move and Store to build you Google ad campaigns. And look, like, one thing which I will say is we're a certified Google partner. This is not blowing smoke or anything like that. Like, Google has certified us as being effective at managing paid ad campaigns. Okay, this service pays for itself. Okay, we've got a client in Sheffield, and Andrew's Removals. So they've actually recently increased their spend. They started with £250 a month. They've recently increased it because of the amount of leads and jobs which they're winning. Basically, I think at last count, we'd sent them 54 leads last month. So 54 verified, like real people that have picked up the phone, rang them, sent them in inquiries that's dropped into the Move and Store account, which they've been able to then quote, price up, and have a chance of winning. And these people, by the way, if they're coming from there, they're not then being bombarded with a handful of other people that have paid for a lead. And people, when you're in that mix, let's say you're on Bark, you're paying for the privilege of reaching out to somebody, but that same person is being chased and harassed by 4 other people that also want to win that work. When the lead comes through Google, they may have only reached out to you or maybe one other person. Like, people don't go and get 5 different quotes. Like, it's too high. We get 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And Move and Store helps you to beat out the rest just by the very fact of how professional that you look and how professional that you come across. Okay. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please do reach out. And if you want any assistance in getting set up, look, like I know that, not everybody is technical. Yeah, not everybody is technical in terms of running computers, etc. Like, reach out. Like, I'll help you get set up with your settings, your prices, your branding, so that the system basically runs itself. Like, essentially, as long as you're phoning people up and, like, effectively quoting in terms of find out their inventory, and you add it to the system and you press send, the email is doing the rest, the system is doing the rest, it's following up for you on your behalf. You don't have to pick up the phone and chase, because the system is chasing for you. Okay? All right. I'll speak to you soon.